Hi there, everyone. Emmanuel here from Empowerment Team, and today I have Jason, who's a really good friend of mine, a trading buddy, and he's been so kind to come and do an interview with me today. So thank you for that, Jason. I'm just going to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, Jason. So Jason he's a 20-year entrepreneur. You know, he's been his own boss for 20 years now. He's actually been a trader now for 5 years, right? So, and he's a six-figure earner. And he's actually in helping people with trading. We have 4,000 people that he's actually in the group that we're in, and he's actually helping people regularly to learn this skill of Forex trading. So hi, Jason, and welcome, and thank you.
Hey, Manny. Good to be on here with you, brother. I appreciate the invite. And for those of you who don't know Manny, he is an awesome guy, one of the leaders in our team as well. And he's changing lives every single day. It's awesome to see what you're doing, brother.
Thank you for that, Jason. So, I gave you a little intro, Jason. So I'll let you do, a better job, and you tell us a little bit about yourself for the people that don't actually know you. Do you know?
Well, you did an awesome job. Number one. Number two. I actually am just a really short little blurb. I'm actually the son of a 7th-generation dairy farmer, so I know all about hard work. I was raised from a young age to put on a pair of boots and go milk cows before you go to school and after you come home, before the homework is done and all that stuff. So that gave me a really good work ethic. So like I said, like Manny talked about, I've been my own boss for over 20 years. And this is actually what I was looking for 15 of those years. I've had, large teams. I've had my own products. I've set people free for the last 20 years, financially free. But this is what I was looking for, where I could just teach people a skill that could set them free, right? You don't have to go out and recruit and sell and knock on doors and all the other BS that people do. It's literally, it's coming in here and it's learning a skill. So when this came across my desk back in March of 2017, which is when I started, and by the way, I had never traded a day in my life before that day on the Forex, March 7, 2017. And I knew this is what I was looking for when my buddy Michael brought it to me. And then we've built it from that point forward. Like Manny said, we're closing in on 4,000 people in our private Facebook group. And we're just, like I said, changing lives all the time. The success we're seeing is nuts. And that's blessed to be able to do that. The money is great. Don't get me wrong. But this is a skill. This is a skill that you need to be willing to come in here and learn, obviously. So, but it's life changing.
Definitely is, and I agree with the hard work, Jason. You are one of the hardest working people I've ever known. 6 days a week, giving your time. It's amazing, and we're so thankful to have you around. So, one of the questions I've always wanted to know, as a full-time trader, as you are, a professional full-time trader, what does a typical day look like for a professional trader? I mean, how does it start? How does it end? Without any other recruiting side, just the trading side, what does that look like?
So it's interesting because, when you first come in and you start learning the skill, the majority of your time is going to be understanding the skill. It's kind of like learning a new language, right? As you're going through the process and you're going through the steps that we show. And by the way, the things that we have obviously on our team, as Manny can attest to, are very beginner friendly. Right? Like we take you from the very, very beginning of, what is Forex, what is trading, all the way up through the patterns that we use, which maybe I'll show you later. We'll see. But the point is that we're going to go through and we're going to show you exactly what you need to do. So the majority of the time as a new person is going to be spent in that learning phase. But once you know this, and once you what we call train your eyes and train your brain to see what we see and think like we think, I may be on the charts for 2 to 5 hours a week. That's it.
Amazing.
So the majority of my trading time is in the morning time because I'm in the U.S. Now, if you're in the U.K., that's awesome as well because the U.K. is actually the largest volume session in the Forex. New York session is the second largest. So I trade usually the New York, London, New York overlap into the New York open of the stock market. So I like to trade indices and crypto and metals, and I trade Forex obviously as well. But again, people think that in order to be a day trader, you need to be sitting in front of your computer all day long, staring at the charts. And once you understand what you're looking for, you don't have to be, because we actually have tools that will alert us. Right in the group, we actually have tools that will alert us as to the next pair to go look at, and it just makes it very, very user friendly. So it's a little bit different than when you're first starting. Yeah, you're gonna spend some time learning this, kind of like you would a new language. But once you get it down, just like speaking a new language, it just comes off, right? You're able to roll off the tongue as far as that goes. Same kind of deal here. And that's really the goal. The goal is to get to the point where you're spending 1 to 3 or 2 to 5 hours a week really on the charts. And the rest of my time is helping people. That's what I do.
I can attest to that, really, because actually when I first started, like you're saying, I used to sit on the charts and watch every little pip. And when you get to a point where you do understand it, there would be times where, like you said, we put the alerts on and it would trigger, your trade would be done when you're out enjoying yourself. And then you think, what do I do with the rest of my week now? Do you know what I mean? It was like, I had some weeks like that, but yeah, yes, so it's amazing. It really is. So another thing I really wanted to know was, like, because this is the doubt that a lot of people had, how long did it take you before you got to a point where you thought, I understand this. I'm confident enough to now give up my day job or whatever you were doing and just say, like, I'm going to be I'm a trader now. I'm going to make enough to be a trader.
Kind of a loaded question, because, and here's really the great part about it. If you're watching this video here in June of 2022, you guys are in a great spot. And here's the reason why. Because when we first started this, it was just my buddy and Michael, my buddy Jay, and my buddy David, who were out there trying to figure out the best path to help people to become financially free. And it actually took us 2.5 years to find that path. Right? People think it's an overnight success, but in reality, it took us 2.5 years just to find what we call the banker strategy, right? And then from that point forward, right, what we have done is we have developed this. We developed this system that can allow a new person to come in 30, 60, 90 days, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, depending on how much they devote themselves to learning this, can be financially free. I mean, people that are firing their boss in a matter of months instead of years, which it normally would take any other kind of traditional business as far as that goes. So, I made a bunch of mistakes, and one of the things you got to find out about our team, if you decide to become part with Manny and myself and a bunch of other awesome people, is that we're very transparent, right? One of the things that I do every single week is I do, and you know this, brother, I do a Millionaire Mindset Getting Started webinar, which I actually go through some of the mistakes that I made to help our new folks not make those same mistakes. So it took me way longer. As a matter of fact, Michael will say this as well. I'm a little bit jealous that people are having so much success so fast, because it was such a struggle when we first came on, because we didn't have all the things that new folks have in now, where we have all the different tools and the Discord and the website and the Facebook group, and we had to build that all. So, so kind of with that saying, it took me a lot longer than it should take anybody coming in right now. Let's put it that way.
Okay, that makes sense. So I know that we normally only give these patterns away, like, in our group, but I wonder if I could twist your arm to at least show the people watching exactly. Can I just bend your arm a little bit and show the people that are watching what the actual 2 simple patterns that we look for? We say these are the only 2 patterns you're ever going to need to make as much money as you'll ever going to need, sort of thing. So I wonder if I could just get you to give a little source and give a little bonus for these people watching.
I'd be happy to, but you need to allow me to screen share. All right. So yeah, I'll be happy to do that for you, Manny, and only because of you being you, dude. I'm gonna take the time to show this, because like Manny said, we usually show this in our free trial group, which you should definitely still be a part of the next free trial group. Just obviously get in touch with Manny and he'll give you all the details on that, because we show you a whole bunch of stuff than just this. But I'll give you the brief outline and the brief overview as far as that goes. So in case you don't know, the banks manipulate the markets, and I don't care if it's the crypto market or the indice market, it's the stock market, in the gold, metals, crypto, forex, commodities, right? Pretty much every single financial asset is manipulated by the banks. This is how they've had to make money for the last 100+ years, guys. And this is just what they do every single. Right? Just go through and do a Google search, right? And say, big bank, whatever, HSBC, Bank of America, whatever. I mean, and then list the banks, JP Morgan Chase, fine. And you'll see all the different times they get their hands slapped for manipulating the markets. It happens all the time. And by the way, when they get their hands slapped, it's like for $100 million, and they make billions of dollars a day. So that $400 or $500 million is no big deal. So let's just go through exactly what they do. So what they do is they try to trap what we call the retail traders. So I'm going to draw this out for you real quick. So one of the ways they do that is they form something called consolidation, right? So if anybody knows, right, like if you're a retail trader, which by the way, we do not consider ourselves retail traders. We trade with the banks. We ride the coattails of the banks. So let's just start here, right? So when you have, right, this area, this is called consolidation. And what you actually have here is you have people that are forming opinions. So if you are a retail trader, right, what would this be called? Well, this would be called resistance, right? What would this be called? This would be called support, right? So the people that think this is going to go up, right, they would be putting their buys right down here and their stop losses down here. People think it's going to go down, they're putting their sells right here and their stop losses up here. Okay. Now, we also, one of the other things, and again, the banks all know all this stuff, guys. So what they do is they make these M's, right? What if you went into YouTube or Baby Pips or any of that stuff? What do they tell you to look for? M's and W's. Well, this is the way that they trap you, right? Because the people that are seeing M's are saying, okay, this is definitely going to go down, right? And then people that are seeing W's, right, like this, are saying, wow, this is going to go up. Well, guess what? They're both going to get wiped out. I'm going to show you exactly how they do it. So they do this to make the new person or the retail trader form opinions. Okay. And then what they do in the first pattern I'm going to show you is called the signature pattern. So these people that think that this is going to go up, they put their buys right down here and their stop losses down here. And what the banks do is they come down and they just take out these folks right in here. They come down, they move price just below this level of support. Okay, right down into here. And then they come right back up into that zone. Okay, now they don't stop here. Okay, they come back and they take out the money of these folks up in here. Because the people that thought this was going to go down, they have their stop losses up in here, right? And then they have their sells up in here. So these folks got taken out by this push down, right? And these folks got taken out by this push up. And then what do the banks do? The banks come down and they mitigate, we call it, the banker's candle. The banker's candle is the last push down before this move up. And they come down to get their money because they manipulated the price right here. They come out to get their money out of this candle. And then once they do that, we jump on right there and ride their coattails up. This is exactly what happens in the signature pattern. And it happens the exact opposite way, right? If it's for a sell, they'll come and they'll wipe out the top first. They'll then go down to the bottom. They'll mitigate that banker's candle up in that top area, and then they'll fall. So it happens this way all the time. And by the way, this happens on every single time frame, on every single asset class, on every single pair, right? So no matter what you're trading, this happens. My friend JT just caught a beautiful trade on Tesla, right, using this exact pattern. So it doesn't have to be in the in the Forex realm, but we teach it primarily in Forex because it is the largest financial market in the world. So that's called the signature patterns, one of the patterns that we look for. The other pattern that we look for is called the banker's box. Okay, so the banker's box is when the banks do exactly the same thing. I'm gonna put this one to the downside, right? So the banker's box is what they do. They consolidate. They have those people forming their opinions, putting their stop losses and their take profits and all that stuff. And what they do, right, is that they don't just pop out of the box. They blast out of the box. Okay, we call it the banker's box. Okay, because this is the box, right? We call it the banker's box. So once they blasted out of the box, what they have done now, right, is that they've effectively taken all these people's stop losses down here. And then what do? They actually come up and they make what we hope is a controlled flag. So a controlled flag is where you have, right, price shoots down and then obviously comes back up into that banker's candle area that I just talked about before, right, up into this area where you have this last push up before this giant move down, right? And they come up and they mitigate that candle, and then we catch them going to the downside as well. So we catch them right here. We jump on their bandwagon, on their coattails, and then we ride them down into profits. And this is exactly what we do every single day, right? So this is the banker's box. Again, they both start with this sideways consolidation. But one of them, right, will just pop its head out like the signature pattern I showed you. And this one blasts out of the box. And then we want to have this controlled flag coming back up into this banker's candle to then go off, right? And again, they don't always happen exactly like this, Manny, but they happen a lot on every single time frame, on every single pair. And we just wait for these patterns to set up. And when you become part of the free trial, we'll actually show you the software that we use, right, to be able to get some trade ideas as well. So you're not having to look at all 32 pairs plus the indices and, you know, crypto and metals and all that different kinds of stuff. We actually have software that we use to give trade ideas on a silver platter as far as that goes. So those are the two patterns that we look for, brother.
That's awesome. Thank you for that, Jason. And you know, like Jason was saying, you know, if none of that's making sense, don't worry, because we're going to give you a chance to come and actually trade with us for free. You know, and if Jason can explain it over and over. When repetition puts that into your head, and even when you see it on the charts, it's amazing on the charts. I'll tell you something quickly about me, Jason. I actually learned the M's and W's and all those patterns, trend lines, and all of that. I actually paid £30,000, which is almost $40,000, to be taught to trade double tops. And then I'm thinking, well, why is this not working? And then it suddenly makes sense when I found you guys. It's unbelievable.
And thank goodness it doesn't. This doesn't cost $30,000 or $40,000.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. Honestly, I mean, it's crazy. But you think that's the way, because that's all the information that's out there. You know.
Yep.
Another question I wanted to ask you then, Jason. So what's the difference? Because some people come to our group, complete newbies. Yeah, they don't know anything about trading. They plug in, and within 3 to 6 months, like you were saying earlier, they're firing their bosses. Maybe they're getting funded trading, something called FDMO. They're getting other people's money to trade, and they're just crushing it. You know, they're on there showing all their results and all their wins, and you're thinking, wow, this is amazing. Do you know, what's the difference between that and somebody that it is still maybe a year or over, is still kind of not getting that consistency that they're searching for?
So I like to think of it like this. When you're in school, and let's say you're in a math class, right? And you have the same teacher, you have the same books, you have the same information. You have, let's say, 20 or 30 kids in the class, high school class or whatever. And the teacher's giving the exact same info, the exact same quizzes, the exact same tests. So at the end of the year, when that class is over, at the end of the semester, right, everybody gets the same grade, right?
No, obviously, yeah, no, definitely
not. Not how it works, because some people will apply themselves. Some people will do what they're shown to do. Some people will do extra credit. Some people will want this more than the other people do. So it really comes down to it's not whether what I just showed works. It's not whether what we teach, you know, in its entirety works, because it all does. That's not the variable. The only variable in this whole thing is you. Is what is that person going to do? Is that person going to really plug in? Like, we are live, like Manny talked about, 6 days a week, right? 6 days a week. We are in the trenches with our team, which, by the way, usually would cost thousands and thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars to get people we have 30 plus years of experience in trading, just between the four on the leadership team, myself, Michael, and Jay and David. Not to mention all the amazing 5 and 6 and 7 figure traders that we have in our team as well that are here to help. But the point is that you have to be willing to learn what we show you to do. Like I said before, I do a Millionaire Mindset Getting Started webinar every single Saturday, and I have coming up on this 2 weeks from now, it'll actually be 5 years doing that webinar every single week, unless I've been sick or traveling. The point is, guys, is that we are here to help, but you have to be willing, right, to do what we show you to do. You have to be willing to go through the process. You have to be willing to follow the steps. Right? We have spent tens of thousands of hours putting this together, but you still have to walk the walk. That's what we tell our Team Abundance family, because without that, right, nothing is going to happen without doing those steps. It's not by osmosis. You have to actually do it. So the number one thing that I could say is really take this seriously. Like you don't have to be staring in front of the computer 8 hours a day. It's not necessary, but you have to do consistent daily action. You have to do consistent daily activity to be able to have the success that you want to have. And if somebody else can do it, so can you. The other thing that is a huge big deal is the mindset, right? People want, right, things yesterday. They want to be a millionaire yesterday. They want to be financially free yesterday. They want to fire their boss yesterday. And the reality is, right, is if you can do that, and let's say 3, 6, 9 months, God forbid a year, right, what would you give to be able to have, right, the knowledge that says, okay, 1 year from now, I'm going to be able to fire my boss and never have to worry about money again. Be able to work 1 to 3, maybe 5 hours a week and be able to spend time with my family and do what I want to do. What would you be willing to do? What would you be willing to give up to be able to have that come to fruition? And that's really what you have to ask yourself every single day. Now, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to do what the 97% aren't willing to do to be able to have what the 3% have? And that's what we are part of here. We are part of the 3%.
Yeah. Definitely. There's another, just before we, one last one before we wrap it up. I just wanted to know, this is a question I get a lot. A lot of people come to me and they're like, there's signal services out there. There's Telegram channels. I can follow some other person who's telling me they're getting 96% win rates and all this sort of stuff. So why would I give my money to you to learn anything when I can just give it to this person and I can get 90% win rates? Do you know what I mean? So I was just wondering what you say to that and what's your thoughts on that quickly?
Because it's all smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors. And here's what I mean by that. We are not a signal service for those of you who are watching this. And if you're looking for signal services, there are plenty of people out there that will take your money. But here's the problem. The problem is that if you don't have the right mindset, if you don't have the right knowledge, you will still fail. Right? We had time and time again. You can go and you can look at case studies of people that have done signals, right? And unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, or maybe even more than that, those people fail. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, they don't have the right mindset. So in other words, let's say that they have a trade that they have, let's say, 20 pip stop loss on, and they get in a profit like $5, and like, oh, I gotta get out of this trade because I don't want to lose money. It's I call it fear of losing, right? And then you have people, right, that it goes a little bit in the drawdown or a little bit into negative, right? Which a lot of trades do because you have expansions and pullbacks in the market. And then a lot of those folks will get out of their trade only to have that trade go on and win because they didn't have the right mindset. And then some people will let that trade go all the way to the take profit where that signal caller said to let it go to, and then they didn't get out because they got greedy, right? And then it comes all the way back and stops them out either at break even or a loss. So it all goes back to the mindset. That's the first part of it. The second part of it is that what happens when that signal caller that you are using goes on a bad streak, goes on a losing streak, because it happens to everybody, right? What happens when you're not taking every single one of that person's trades because you can't physically be up 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, right? Or 7 days a week if you're trading crypto. Right? And you're only taking the trades for whatever reason that are losing, while other people are taking the trades that are winning. Okay? Number one. And the last thing is that why would you ever want to I get messages all the time, Manny, of people that are saying, I just got scammed out of this. I got scammed out of that. Right? People, I gave my money to this person and they just took it and ran. Why would you ever want to do that? Right? When you have the ability, you have the knowledge, you can have this skill that can set you free for the rest of your life. Yes. Why would you ever want to give that power over to somebody else and hope that they don't mess with your money, hope that they don't scam you, hope that they do what they say they're going to do? Yeah. Where if you learn the skill, it's in your hands. Exactly. Your financial freedom is in your hands, and all you have to do is learn what we teach you to do. And you can do this. It is not hard, but you have to be willing to learn, right? And it's not push button easy. It's not get rich quick. It's not some pie in the sky BS. This is a skill that what I believe personally is the highest paid skill in the world, right? Because of the amount of money, $5.3 to $6.5 trillion a day is up for grabs in the Forex market if you know what you are doing. And you can do this. But you have to obviously become part of the team. And the next thing you do is get back in touch with Manny and get into the next free trial so you can do that.
Thank you, Jason. I really want to, I know we're rushing for time. We got like 4 minutes left. And I know you have to move on and do your other stuff. I just want to say thank you for the time you spent to come out here and do this with me. Do you know what I mean? I know you're a very busy man. And just any last words, anything you want to say that just to kind of round it off? I'm really very, very grateful for everything you do. You are welcome, my friend. And this is what we do all the time, guys. We are here to change lives.
Manny and myself and the other, 4,000 people in this team, we are a group or a team of people helping people. So if you want to be in a community of people that really sincerely want you to win and are here to support you, like I've never seen anything like it before. Like Manny said in the beginning, I've been my own boss for over 20 years. We built this, right, the way that we wanted to build it. And by we, I mean, like I said, the leadership, which I am part of, built this in a way that we are here helping people all the time. And that's what we love to do. We are changing lives every single day. So if you want to be part of a community of like-minded people, of people that are helping other people to become successful, and you want to change your life with this, you have found, a great community. And here's the deal. Get in touch with Manny. Obviously, be part of the free trial, right? And then obviously you can see if this is for you, and you don't have to spend a single cent to find out if this is something that you want to become a part of. And when you do, obviously, get back to Manny, and he'll help you to get that rocking and rolling. Because, like I said before, Manny is a great leader in our team as well.
Thank you so much, Jason. I really appreciate you. I appreciate everything you do. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you on the group. Hopefully, contact me and contact Jason. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
See you.
Bye for now.